stand here. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Heriot-Watt University. My name is Jasmine. I'm the head for the Malaysian Foundation programs, and I'm very glad to be able to present to you what our foundation program is about today. So what I'll be talking about is to actually to introduce you to what the current environment that we are facing now, what are some of the challenges as students who come into tertiary education or come to universities, what they face now, and how at Heriot-Watt University we actually address these challenges through our positive education practices. And then I'll bring you through to have a look at how we actually run our foundation program through the online learning approach that we have now, and talk a little bit about how we also prepare students to be able to adapt to university during these current challenging times. So the first question that I always pose to parents in the room is, let us think about what do we want for our children. And many a time, when we talk about what we want for our children, you will see that these are a lot of the kind of answers that we will get. Parents will always say that they want their children to be happy, they want their children to be successful, they want their children to grow up to be independent, motivated, to be self-directed learners, etc., right? And to be caring individuals, to be able to make an impact, in the world, contribute back to society, etc. However, when we look at what we or currently what the schools are teaching, and basically what a lot of universities now are focusing on, it's mainly on preparing students for academic excellence. So while we admit that, in many universities, we prepare students to excel academically, are we actually fulfilling that question that I asked just now in having prepare our students to be happy, to be successful, and to be able to face the challenges that we face now? And in today's situation, as you can see now, everyone here is wearing masks, and we are all physically distant, and we are unable to actually have face-to-face classes as normal, and so there are actually many challenges that are being faced now. So how do we prepare our graduates to be able to face such challenges while we also prepare them to be academically excellent, to be successful academically? So that is the question that I want you to think about, and I would like to actually tell you how we start doing that in our foundation programs. So apart from the pandemic challenges, some of the challenges that we see nowadays are what we call the Industry 4.0 revolution, which is the advancement of technology, the technological advancements, which has actually put a lot of pressure in terms of the kinds of jobs that are available nowadays, because you see that many jobs now are being taken away, maybe due to automation, being displaced, being replaced by new jobs. So you can see there are a lot of statistics now which actually tell us, and research and studies that tell us that jobs are being displaced. And there might be new jobs out there by the time all of you graduate, right? So a lot of graduates going through university studies nowadays, they face that challenge that whatever that you are studying for today for a job that you think that you want to do might not even exist by the time you graduate 4 or 5 years down the road. And we have to keep on renewing our skills and preparing ourselves. But it's not only renewing the skills, but we also need to be able to face the unknown challenges, to be able to adapt to these challenges, to be able to face maybe failures and obstacles. we need to build that mental resilience to be able to face that, right? So a lot of jobs outlook now, if you look at the jobs and the skills outlook, more and more you see this type of skills that are being sought after by employers, such as creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence. They don't talk about hard skills anymore, because hard skills is a given. Hard skills, what I mean is technical skills. If you graduate from a university with a degree in a specific discipline, it is known that you have those hard skills, right? Because you have been prepared for it. But what about those soft skills that actually now a lot of employers are looking at? So even in Malaysia, you can see that, this is a study done by Khazanah Research Institute, where they produced this report, School to Work Transition of Young Malaysians, and they actually interviewed many employers. So Malaysian employers are saying that, can see that more than about 50% of the employers actually rate soft skills as the top skills that they are looking for in graduates, apart from work experience, and you can see hard skills actually rank much lower. So the type of soft skills that employers are actually emphasizing on and looking for are actually ability to be able to have a desire for learning, okay? Ability to adapt rapidly to the changing world of work. And besides the other soft skills that I mentioned, such as emotional intelligence, critical thinking, being able to have a growth mindset, being able to adapt to challenges. And these are the kind of skills that we need to also develop in our students. So the challenges of all this industry revolution, the technology, etc., actually has also seen or shown us that many of our youth today actually have a decreasing sense of social interaction. They are unable to interact with their peers because of their frequent use of devices. Many of our youth nowadays, they are actually tied to their devices, right? The devices is like another appendage of them. 24 hours, some of them, they are actually hooked to their devices. And it has been shown that this has actually caused quite a increase in lack of empathy, social concern in many of our youth. So what we see here is that in order for our youth to thrive in this digital revolution and beyond, we actually need to strengthen more of our humanistic values. And these are values such as the creativity, empathy, emotional intelligence, sense of moral, etc. And these are the values which will help us to be able to thrive in the digital revolution, to be able to be better than the humanoids and the robots and the machines. Because these humanistic values is what makes us different from the machines. The sense of caring, to be able to show empathy, to know the sense of right and wrong. And these are the values that we need to build and strengthen in order for us to be successful in the digital revolution. So we want to build our graduates to ensure that our graduates are able to have that sense of strong sense of humanistic values. But you can see now, even a lot of studies show, even in that area, we are losing out at the moment. The statistics shows that actually among youth, even the sense of well-being among youth actually has been deteriorating. So this is something that we need to address. And even in Malaysia, there have been a lot of news that you read in the newspapers about our own youth facing these issues like depression, anxiety, stress, etc. So these are actually statistics from the Malaysia National Health and Morbidity Survey, which studied adolescents. So we need to be able to address all these issues. And how do we address that? So at Heriot-Watt University, Malaysia, we do that through what we call positive education. And positive education, it's actually an education paradigm which focuses on not only developing academic excellence and achievement, which is what we do very well, but we focus on developing well-being and character as well, to enable us to develop graduates who are resilient, who are happy, who are well adapted to the environment. And the way we do it at Heriot-Watt University is through this model that we have. Every student who comes to Heriot-Watt University, we have programs which help them to develop a sense of purpose. So there have been a lot of studies that shows that actually having a very strong sense of purpose actually is a predictor of success in future. You know, individuals who have strong sense of purpose tend to lead happier lives. They tend to be healthier. They tend to be more successful in their careers. They tend to be able to address obstacles much better, you know, when faced with challenges. And this is what we actually try to develop in all our students through various programs that we have. And the sense of purpose actually then will help us to develop the academic excellence and the professional skills, be able to, we actually enhance that with character building and soft skills programs, and also through that we also have well-being programs which help our students to be able to build their mental resilience. And with all that, we hope that, you know, students will be able to have a strong realization of what they want to do with their future, and then be able to have an impact in the world. So basically, what we conduct at Heriot-Watt University, we start with the foundation program, whereby in the foundation program, we start to introduce some elements of this positive education through our online or our orientation program, which is called Fit for Future. When students move on to undergraduate later, they will actually go through a one-year program, which is called a compulsory one-year course, which we call Empower, which builds further on these skills that I mentioned here, which is the character value, soft skills, and building well-being, and, you know, helping students to be flourishing as successful individuals and to build up on their professional skills. So at the Malaysian Foundation program, what we do is we start off by helping students who come into the foundation program to be able to overcome a lot of the uncertainties and doubts that they might have when joining a university. So basically, a lot of students who come to university for the first time, they might have these questions in mind. You know, what do they want to study? Okay, what course should I take? How will I fit into university? Because I have to make new friends, new study environment, right? Maybe I'm an introvert, I'm shy. How do I, you know, adapt to university life? So these are a lot of the questions in our young people's mind nowadays, and maybe in many of you as well, you know, today, you know, facing that kind of, you know, fear and anxiety because you're coming to a new experience. So no fear, you know, we help prepare our students to be able to transition well into university life through what we call an online orientation that we call Fit for Future. So all our foundation students go through a one-week orientation program that is very, very unique, because the orientation program, it not only helps students to familiarize with the university services and the lecturers, etc., but we try to build some of these soft skills within the students to prepare them for university studies, and to also create that very positive mindset for the students so that they actually look forward to joining the university, they make new friends, and they come into the university studies with a very positive mindset and have a very good self-sense of confidence to be able to succeed in their academic journey. So this Fit for Future orientation prepares students, as I said, for their academic journey, not only in foundation, but beyond. Okay, help them through their undergraduate studies, and we focus a lot on this positive education principles and philosophies, like building a positive mindset, helping students to be more self-aware, building up their emotional intelligence, you know, giving them some tips and techniques on how to develop SMART goals for themselves so that they can set good SMART goals and be able to achieve them and work towards them. And then the other thing is to also transition them to the new study environment, familiarize themselves with our virtual learning environment. They get to know their classmates and they get to know their lecturers very well. So just to show you basically what it looks like, in our platform. So we run the Fit for Future now. It's online because of the current restrictions that we have, where we are unable to do the face-to-face classes, as I've mentioned. So we have built that into our virtual learning environment. And basically, it's a very user-friendly and very interesting platform that we have. It's very engaging. And we supplement that with there are face-to-face webinars with the facilitators and the lecturers. And then students have to do some what we call personal discovery units through some self-guided learning units that they have to complete online. And there are activities that students have to complete, and then they can actually share with their friends. So the platform is very user-friendly, and it's sort of like students interacting in a social media platform. So the personal discovery units, these are a bit small, but these are actually what it looks like actually on the platform itself. We have topics like the successful mindset, rewiring your brain. We talk about gratitude, emotional intelligence, team dynamics. We have students to look at how they evaluate their learning styles, and also look at their own personality so that they understand themselves and how they actually work in teams, etc. All in the virtual learning environment. So I would just like to actually play a video now which shows this was the April 2020 batch of students who went through Fit for Future fully online last year. So last year was the first batch because the MCO started on 18th March. And then we had our April intake, and we actually did a short video on that. So I'd just like to play the video for you guys now.
Dear students, colleagues, and family members, this time is very special. It is very challenging, and I believe all of us, all of you, are also a special group of people. I was positively surprised and excited by the work that our students have done. It's an amazing thing that we could all do this with such a short time and also doing it using technology. All that work that you've done will get you ready, will get you fit for the future. One thing that we are sure of, this crisis is going to end. And when that happens, we will need leaders to lead the economic recovery. And you will be among the leaders who will get our communities, our nations, and the entire world to move into the economic recovery and also be a better place.
The Fit for Future curriculum has embedded the learnings of how to develop a successful mindset, rewiring our brain with positive thoughts, language and actions, building emotional intelligence through our self-awareness and managing and controlling emotions, and setting smart goals for career learning. I strongly believe that these are the testament to how successful the program has been in achieving our desired outcomes.
What I've learned so far in this online learning platform is that communication within your group is the key to success, and teamwork makes the dream work.
By joining this program online, I have no regrets at all, as this program was packed with interesting activities and games. Some of them even challenged me to think who I am really are.
I think the biggest highlight in this program is the emotional intelligence activity. As what Professor Mustaq Al-Atabi had commented, emotional intelligence is a cornerstone of leadership and success. I had fun participating in this Fit for Future program.
Fit for Future program, it's totally different. I really enjoyed the gratitude activity. It makes me feel grateful for people around me. It was a really warm experience for me. So I think that joining the Fit for Future program is definitely an amazing experience for me.
I would like to thank all the students. I would like to thank all their parents and their families for their support. And I also would like to thank the work, the tireless work that our staff have done to put this together. I'm really excited and I'm very happy to be here, and I'm proud of everyone who has done this great work.
Okay, so that just gives you a glimpse of what the Fit for Future students go through, and I can tell you, after having run 3 iterations last year for all our 3 intakes, the testimonies that we receive and the feedback that we receive are very largely similar. Okay, after the end of the program, many students have very similar positive comments about the program. So I hope that there's something that all of you will look forward to when you join us. So I'd like to go on now to talk about the foundation program. And the way that I will actually talk about it is also talking about the digital first approach that we have taken, just to give you an idea of what you will be experiencing when you join us. Basically because you are joining us at this very unprecedented times, right? So the learning experience will be slightly different from what we would have normal lectures when you come to university, because I can see that probably some of the time you might not be able to come to university. So depending on how the situation progresses as the days go by, we hope to welcome everybody back to university, but we cannot guarantee that. So we are well prepared in terms of being able to deliver this online as well, as our 2020 batch of students have gone through, where they have gone through this kind of hybrid mode of learning as well, in terms of having some very limited face-to-face and mainly online learning. So basically, the foundation program that we will be running runs on a virtual learning platform that is very unique, and we have actually redesigned the entire delivery of the content to be able to be delivered in an online delivery mode. And the way we do it is actually through a very innovative approach. So we don't just upload lecture notes for students to read. We actually design the content in such a way that we follow what we call a challenge-based learning pedagogy. So we build all the content around real-world challenges and global narrative, so that students, from the minute they start learning the concepts and the theory, they can relate back to real-world applications. The other thing is the platform that we use enables us to monitor our students' progress very closely. So we are able to track every single student, how they are progressing on the platform, how much work that they are actually doing, and lecturers can pick that out and be able to actually address students who are not progressing well by sending them reminders, saying that, hey, maybe you're not progressing so well, are you falling behind, do you need help, etc. So we can track that. And actually, lecturers say that they can track this much better than when they are doing a face-to-face class. For instance, now that I'm doing a lecture to all of you, everyone is listening attentively, but how do I know that everyone is grasping or remembering what I'm saying? In a typical class as well, sometimes we have students at the back browsing their handphone or doing other things, and might not be also paying attention. But through the online learning platform, the students need to participate in certain activities. They have to complete certain activities. This allows us to be able to track if they are actually following through the learning content. So the delivery mode is also we design it in a very engaging manner. As I said, students actually, the design of it is a little bit like social media platform. The students can like each other's postings. They can post a lot of different text postings or videos, etc., for the lecturer to actually view and to check. The major component of the learning experience through the challenge-based learning actually focuses on what we call authentic learning experience. So what we mean by authentic learning experience, as I said, is we actually design the entire content delivery through actually a global storyline. So the storyline puts students in actually a fictional world, in a sense, or we call it a fictional city, whereby they are trying to actually develop or build components for that city through the courses that they are doing. So basically, the storyline that we are actually we have developed for the foundation is that we ask students to imagine that they are in this fictional city, which is called Urbiston, and the aim of this city is they want to be a smart city. So as the students go through the courses, be it mathematics or physics or chemistry or psychology or economics, etc., every single course we tie it back to this entire city. So just to give you an example, for mathematics example, the scenario that we paint is that we are trying to build a smart stadium in the smart city. So in order to build the smart stadium, there are certain things that need to be done, like measuring the plot of land, calculating certain things. And this kind of concepts are being introduced into mathematics as we start to teach some of the mathematical concepts and when we introduce the mathematical formula. So in the English and academic skills, the way that we paint the scenario is that the students are reporters of a newspaper, a media company in this city. So all the work that they do, the assignments, will be linked to this narrative that they have, and this allows students to be able to relate some real life challenges or real work to a city. And through this, we hope that students will be able to actually learn better and they understand it better. So this is an example of mathematics whereby we use, so a very simple example in one of the very early topics where students are taught the distance formula. And we use the scenario to say that how big can we make the stadium given the plot of land that we have, and this is how we introduce the distance formula to the students. And then students are given the exercises, and this is what I mean by students having to upload some of the exercises that they have to do or the activities that they have to do for the lecturer to check. So there are many learning activities that are actually being designed and provided in this platform. Students can post things like their reflection. So just now when you saw the Fit for Future video, there are a lot of students posting their reflection. So we encourage students to actually express what they learned, through that experience. Okay, they post comments, they can post video, they can actually upload diagrams, they might even complete quizzes, online quizzes. Okay, they attend live webinars, and even if there is a full MCO, some of our students had to do home experiments because they are unable to come to the lab. So we had to actually design quite creative experiments for the students where they have to do it at home using everyday things that they could find. So like example, we had students do a pendulum experiment, and for those of you from science, so students actually have to set up their own stand with the weight, and there are many students being very creative, so they were asked to use like a 500-gram weight, and students use things like fruit or paper weight, anything that they could find at home, and for the stand they use the window. Some of them use the window grill, they use chopsticks or whatever, to be able to conduct the experiments. And for chemistry experiments, to mimic the exothermic and endothermic kind of reactions, we ask them to use vinegar, etc. So these are some examples of kind of home experiments that students had to conduct when they are unable to come to the labs to do this. The other thing that is very unique about this platform is the learning episodes, which I know I want to spend some time to talk about. So what we have done is also we have harnessed some of the experts from Heriot-Watt University and also external industry experts to give very short lectures, what we call learning episodes, which we also put in the learning platform. And this actually helped to enhance the students' learning so that the students at the same time, they also learn from the external experts. They don't have to go out of their homes to be able to listen to all these lectures. So for example, we were even able to get, this is Professor Williams, our Vice Chancellor, all the way from Scotland, Heriot-Watt University, who talked about, because he's a chemical engineer, so he actually gave a very short learning episode on this topic of cryogenic liquids in the chemistry course. And we also had industry experts, like example, the CEO of Standard Chartered Bank, Abra Anwar, who actually talked. This was an interview that he did with the lecturer where he talked about exchange rates. And it's actually a topic that is introduced in the course economics, in the economics course. And then we have various other experts from our UK campus and also our heads of school in Malaysia to also give some of these talks. Just to show a little bit about the analytics, I know this is a little bit small, but how we monitor students, as I said, we can monitor the progress of the students here. So you can see from here, I can see the first one is 50%, 87%, 66%. So we monitor weekly the students' progress. We expect students to show at least 80% progress every week. And this is what I mean that, you know, if we see that, oh, someone is maybe only 50%, the students can send, the lecturer can send them a reminder to say that, hey, you are falling behind, and, you know, is there something that, some help that you need? And we are also able to monitor the students' daily activity in terms of the time that they spend on the platform. So if we see that this line becomes flat all of a sudden and no activity, then it's something to alert us that maybe there's something that we need to follow up with the student. Okay, so that is what we call learning analytics. I will just end by showing some of the feedback that we also receive from students based on the coursework. So at the end of the semester, actually we do this course survey feedback, and you can see that, you know, a lot of the students, they have commented that they enjoyed the work, they enjoyed the coursework, they enjoyed the variety of information and resources provided for each topic. They liked the group work, the interaction that they had in the course. And then, like example, for mathematics, one of the students commented that the content was sufficient. They were able to follow the exercises that were given. You know, the online webinars, when we had online webinars, they were able to understand the lectures very well. And then one of the comments from chemistry was saying that they found that immersing themselves in the learning process through the real life scenario helped them to learn much better. And this is exactly what we actually set out to do when we designed the entire learning process. That was what we wanted. So basically, I hope that gives you an idea of what is the kind of experience that you will have, you know, when you join us and, you know, going through that virtual learning environment. I just want to before I end, to highlight our foundation pathways, where we have foundation in science and foundation in business. And in each of these programs, you can go through the engineering, actuarial science, data science, and psychology pathway through foundation in science. And in foundation in business, you can go through either the management, actuarial science, data science, or the psychology pathway. So each of these pathways, there will be certain compulsory courses that you need to take. Basically, for science, the compulsory courses are English and physics. And then for students, if they are choosing engineering, they can either choose chemistry or computing. And for actuarial science, of course, students can also choose between computing or chemistry, and psychology, of course, they take psychology. For the foundation in business, if students choose to go through foundation in business actuarial science route, they will have to take mathematics as a compulsory course, besides the compulsory English and economics. And then they can choose between accounting or computing. So for those who want to take management or psychology, they will either choose the management course or the psychology course or accounting. So these are some of the options that are available, and, you know, I can discuss further with individual groups for anyone who wants to know more about the selection. So the kind of learning and teaching approach I just want to emphasize is that at the moment we call our learning and teaching approach the responsive blended learning. So the entire university is going through this responsive blended learning kind of delivery mode. And what this means is that we are very agile and we can easily adapt to whatever the external environment is. So this responsive blended learning actually consists of these three elements and any combination of these three. So it could be on campus, it could be fully face-to-face, or right now the current regulations only allow certain lab practicals to be conducted on campus. And then we have the learning materials now being accessed. VLE means the virtual learning environment that I was talking about. So basically all the learning materials will be available 24/7 in our virtual learning environment. Students go through the guided self-directed activities, and then they are able to engage with their lecturers and their peers on the online platform. At the same time, it's supported by our live webinar sessions. So the online live webinar sessions will be through our Collaborate channel that we use, where students dial in, and then then the lecturers will give the class or explanation, and then students can interact with the lecturers. And we use these live sessions as well for our personal consultations with students. So basically, the group consultation will still happen, the one-on-one consultation will still happen, it's just that it won't be face-to-face. So students can still make appointment with their lecturers to meet up and ask questions through the online channel. And of course, our lecturers are also available through the chat functions that are available, because the learning platform actually allows you to have the live chat as well. As long as your lecturer is online within office hours, normally we recommend that you chat with the lecturers during office hours and not at midnight or whatever, because then they won't reply you until the next day. But that is also available. Okay. I just want to highlight some of the current promotional campaign that we have now. So at the moment, we have this flexible foundation campaign, which is actually largely offered to April intake students. So for this flexible foundation campaign, we are accepting forecast results because we know that SPM results are not out yet. So for any students who wish to join us with forecast results, okay, we accept that. And of course, learning is still responsible blended learning, but there are certain benefits of this program, this flexible foundation, in the sense that there will be a flexible fee payment option which is available for April intake students. And then the main feature of this flexible foundation is what we call flexible restart. So which means that, especially for the April intake students, we know that because students might be coming directly from school, and they are coming with their forecast results, and so soon after SPM, maybe they might have some difficulties to go back to, to come back into a fully learning mode after having a long break last year and a lot of disruptive learning experience. We are allowing students who are unable to follow when they join us in April, after a certain cut-off point, they can choose to restart their foundation in July or September intake at no additional cost. So we call it a risk-free intake. So we allow students to start in April, and should they, for whatever reason, not be able to cope during that semester, they can choose to restart in July or September. So that is what we offer. And of course, they will start with Fit for Future next week. April intake actually starts next week with Fit for Future. So the Fit for Future orientation starts next week, and classes start on the 26th of April. So actually, we are still accepting applications for April intake. For those who want to join, you're welcome to join. The other program that I just want to introduce very briefly is for students who have not made up their mind and they're not sure what to do. We also have started this Start Smart program, which is actually a sort of a consultation program which involves us success coaches working with parents and students to help them make some positive steps towards their future studies and career options. So this is basically for maybe students and parents who have not decided on what are the kind of options that they want to go for, or there's a little bit of uncertainty, maybe a clash of different ideas, etc. We are offering this program. The pilot of this program actually also starts in April, but we will be opening up registration for this program for future intakes in May and beyond. So please, you can actually go to this website or the link to be able to look up more details about this Start Smart program. We limit each session to only 10 participants. So it's a very small group. And basically, as I said, that it's free and designed for SPM, STPM students. We will run it using positive psychology and positive education approaches, and it's facilitated by some experienced success coaches from Heriot-Watt University. So students who want to join this program, actually there are actually 3 workshops. And the first workshop, the parent has to join with them. So this is a commitment that we need from the participants. The first workshop, we call it Partnering for Success, whereby we will do a workshop with the parent and child together to talk about, how they can discover their common goals, discover what are their common aspirations of moving forward. And then after the first workshop, the second and third workshop we will work individually with the child to talk about then, once they have actually discovered this common goal that they have communicated with their parents, then they look at how they can actually chart or how they can actually look at how they can plan for that future course that they want to take. And the third workshop will be mainly looking at the tools and the techniques on how they can then design the actions to be able to meet that goal. So this is the Start Smart program that we are also launching for future intakes. So with that, I actually end my presentation and I open up to any questions. Thank you very much for your attention. Are there any questions? My email is also listed here. So basically, if you would like to contact me further, you can email me directly at this email. I'm also available after this if anyone wants one-on-one consultation. Happy to take any questions. Do we have questions in the pigeonhole? Who has a question? Oh, okay. Hi, anyone has questions so far? No questions. What are the questions in the pigeonhole? Camellia? How different is the foundation compared to high school life? Is it a culture shock? So I'm not sure, because different high school have different experience as well, but I think the main difference when you actually join a university is that the expectation is that you will do a lot of independent learning. I think the impression of school is that the teachers are always pushing you to be able to study or to remind you, and maybe a lot of students attend tuition and etc. To help them in their studies. But when it comes to university studies and foundation is no different. We are preparing students to adapt to university study environment, which means that we are grooming the students to be more independent and self-directed. So basically, I think the difference would be, time management is very important, discipline is important, because you would not have, we do not expect the teachers to be running after you to keep on reminding you of deadlines, etc. You might need to find out certain things on your own, show the initiative to ask questions, be not afraid, to mix around and make new friends, etc. So I think that would be the main difference between high school and university life. I hope that answers the question. Can I study in UK campus after completing the foundation program at Heriot-Watt University, Malaysia? So yes, for students who want to transfer immediately after foundation, they may do so, there are selected programs at Heriot-Watt University, UK, where you can transfer directly to. However, for majority of our students, we encourage students to stay back for at least the first year of the undergraduate program, and then they can transfer through what we call the Go Global program that we have, which is very unique. So under the Go Global program, students can transfer and complete their entire year 2, year 3, or year 4 in UK campus, or they can do 1 year and then they come back to Malaysia to complete the studies. And if you transfer through the Go Global program, we actually have the special 20% fee waiver of the international student fee when you transfer to UK or Dubai campuses. If you transfer direct from foundation to first year, you do not get this 20% fee discount. Okay. Okay, so if you select business foundation, can you switch to other UG? So basically, if you look at the prospectus, it lists down for foundation in business, what are the programs that you can transfer to. So basically, just now I did mention for foundation in business, we actually have the management pathway and we have the psychology pathway. So the management pathway allows you to transfer to any of our business programs, or you can also transfer to the psychology programs. If you take the foundation in business actuarial science pathway, then you can transfer to actuarial science or any of the business programs, should you decide that you don't want to do actuarial science later. But you cannot transfer to engineering programs. So students doing the foundation in business, they cannot transfer to engineering programs in future, because engineering programs you require at least a math and a science course to be able to transfer to engineering. If you do a foundation in science, you can transfer to any programs at Heriot-Watt University. Of course, certain programs will have certain entry requirements that you have to fulfill, but foundation in science you can also transfer to business programs. Okay, so I hope that answers. Maybe from there, anyone has any further questions? I'm happy to take that. But we will end the broadcast now. So this was actually broadcasted to our Facebook. Yes, sir.
You mentioned something about the UK program just now.
Yes.
Does the program still runs during the pandemic?
Yes. Okay, so at the moment, we have stopped the Go Global for last year. But what we are hoping is that by September 2021, we are planning to revive that Go Global program, which means, so it won't apply to students entering foundation now, but those who are in undergraduate, I think we will be announcing the applications will be open soon for September 2021, barring any changes in the situation. Yeah. So it was suspended last year because of the pandemic, yes. So we didn't have any student transferring out or student transferring in. Any further questions? Okay. Yeah, just end it. Yeah, so if you want to ask any questions, feel free.